Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome to this episode of Washington Live, powered by KCTC. I'm your host, Jaron Rosien. Our producer is Nick Steffens. Our publisher is Matt Bryant, and we're part of the Southeast Iowa Union. And today, right out the gate with our first segment, our guest is Millie Youngquist. Hi, Millie.
Hi.
Millie wears many hats as a city councilor, as our hotel motel chair, and others, one of which includes the Community Foundation of Washington County. So we're going to kind of switch up the order and shout out this event at the beginning and then get into our regular business, which includes a conversation about butterboards, a story from my grandma Lures on camping, and a update on our program for Halloween on Monday. But before we do that, if you have anything for us to know, birthday shout out, local event, anniversary, you can put that in the chat or email washialive@gmail.com. Tell me about what's happening and how we are starting our show today. What's the event that we want to talk about?
Well, the event is called the Chef Spotlight Fundraiser, and this is our 13th annual event. We feature a chef and who has prepared a lovely meal, a multi-course meal, and this is the fundraiser for the Community Foundation of Washington County. Basically our only fundraiser of the year.
And this is the big meal. You've done different variations of this event, as I recall. I remember way back when I worked at Cafe Dodici, it was like a chef competition.
Right.
And similar when I just opened JP's, I did certain parts of a meal, and Stacia Bontrager was another. And this year it's Corey Evans.
Right. We decided to move away from the competition idea to just featuring one chef and local foods and emphasizing that part of it.
Well, it's great how it adapts and changes. And I think very fondly of Corey. We did Quarantine Kitchen together during the pandemic with Main Street, and we would cook in the kitchen together, and people would do a little box thing, and he'll do a lovely job. What is the menu?
We are having roast pork, a butternut squash soup, and a salad. Of course, the accompanying potatoes and vegetables. And we also are having a dessert auction, which we have
that has stayed
an
true
auctioneer,
time after time. Yes,
right. We added this maybe 5 or 6 years ago, found it successful. The emphasis of our foundation is that we support nonprofit groups in Washington and work to establish permanent endowment funds to benefit those nonprofits. So our featured speaker this year is HACAP.
Sure.
Hawkeye Area Community Action Program, familiar to Washington and surrounding areas. And they're going to talk about their work and also how their endowment helps what they do. Then we're going to split the proceeds from the dessert auction with HACAP so that it give them a boost, give us a boost, and be a lot of fun and lots of good desserts.
Well, this is deja vu, I remember, with how the money can go with the organization. But before we click on that, can you share the date, the time, and how people would get tickets to this chef's dinner at the Wooden Wheel Vineyard? Yep.
Right. We're very excited to be at the Wooden Wheel because they have all the wine tasting room and everything. There no need to move things in and out, and it's all set up, and they have a great facility. The date is Monday, November 14th. The wine tasting starts at 5:30. The meal starts at 6. And tickets are $50 each, and part of that is a tax-deductible donation to our organization.
Excellent.
And we'd like to try to have our tickets sold by the week before the event, which would be November 7th.
Which we will put that in the chat. So if you're interested in attending the Chef's Spotlight Fundraiser on November 14th at the Wooden Wheel Vineyard with wine tasting at 5:30, dinner at 6, tax-deductible $50 ticket, portion of tax deductible. We'll stick that right in the chat so you can get right to it. Before we go to break, the Community Foundation of Washington County, you talk about how you work with endowments and dollars, and I think you have kind of a catchphrase about what you can do with your money. Would you share that with anyone that's curious?
Sure. 3 things, as I look at it, 3 things you can do with your money. You can save it, you can give it away, or you can invest it permanently. So an endowment is a way to do all 3 things, because when you start an endowment or donate to an endowment, you are giving the money away, but not all of that money is spent. That money continues to grow. It's saved in a way. And then every year, this organization you've designated receives money, and this is permanent.
And it continues to give.
The reason HACAP has an endowment is it's from a estate gift many years ago. And so every year, money comes to them from that.
And it lives on in perpetuity.
Right.
So people can enjoy a meal and some wine and some dinner and for a good cause as well with HACAP split proceeds and the Community Foundation of Washington County.
And tickets are limited. We aren't selling like
You don't just go and go and go.
Right,
you
right.
Hit a spot and then you stop.
Yeah. Yep. So
we will put that in the chat. If you're interested, you can snag your ticket and follow that path. Thank you, Millie Youngquist, for coming on
very
to
much.
share about the event. Stick around after the break. We'll do the things that we normally do, starting with segment number 2. We'll see you in a second.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
Emmy, did you know that I only know 25 letters of the alphabet?
Why?
That's the punchline.
Oh.
Cut that one. Emmy, did you know that I only know 25 letters of the alphabet?
No.
I don't know why.
Welcome back to Washington Live, powered by KCTC. I'm your host, Jaron. I'm joined by Nick. We're going to do our normal police report and weather, and then we're going to tell some stories. I have a camping story from my grandma Lures, who is, of course, our family. Hi to our moms. Hi to our grandmas. So we'll tell a family story that's pretty funny. It's from Storyworth. So my aunts and uncle have had my grandma answering questions on Storyworth, and then my mom goes and types them up and then sends them. And this one is kind of a fun, but normal business first. How are you, Nick?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a Friday, so
Happy to hear it.
I'm ready for the weekend.
Are you traveling, or is your lady traveling?
I'm traveling this weekend.
And how many miles are on the Saturn right now?
230 some thousand.
30. I like it.
Maybe even more than that. I think it's like 230. I think it's 235,000 right now.
I respect that. The highest I got was 234 or 237.
My goal was 2s across the board, and I got that around graduation. And I was like, I'm going to get a new car, and I just still have it.
Keep her cooking until she burns to the ground.
It's getting close.
Weather as we speak is sunny and 43. That's deja vu. I think it said the same thing 2 days ago.
Yeah, we're kind of in the point of the year where the weather's just going to stagnate.
Locked in for a moment. Since we last spoke, we've had 52 police calls or calls for service, 18 in the category of traffic. I think that's up from 11 last time.
Yep.
4 in the arrest warrant, 4 all other offenses, 3 suspicious activity, 3 sex offender, 3 burglary. Now we're down to 2s and 1s with the disorderly harassment, civil assault, sex offender registration, family offense, so on and so forth. Let's see what you pulled for me. Oh my, right out the gate. Male subject, this is on Highway 22, stated he was kidnapped from Minnesota And now the subject is dumping him in Iowa. He doesn't know where he is. The phone disconnected and went to voicemail upon callback. 929, 9212, and 9214 responded and located the subject. There was no kidnapping. Subjects were just having an argument, and we'll be moving on.
I don't know.
I would really like to know what was going on there. Oh, I wish I could make a phone call. Never mind. But yeah, I'd like to read between those lines, and I have no idea. Old Captain's Road, I am not familiar with that. Apparently, Riverside, Iowa, reports his son said a subject in a ski mask came into the residence, then left without taking anything. 9211 spoke with the caller, documentation. Ghost number 5?
Maybe. That would just be scary.
It does sound terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't believe. Sometimes you've mentioned how the thing happens and then it disappears. You're like, what's going on? I don't believe that any of these calls are lies. I absolutely believe the person believes, but then you wonder what reality is.
Yeah, if I woke up to someone in a ski mask, that's just classic.
It's horror movie stuff.
It is, and it's just a classic. Of course, he's wearing a ski mask, We
have 3 more before we do the other stuff. This is on the north side of the county. Reports they put up a new privacy fence yesterday, and the neighbor has stuff leaning against it. He also covered the property line survey pin with dirt. Requested deputy, 9214 responded. Neighbor had put a box up against the fence, no damage documentation.
Get over yourself.
I'm not going to... Neighborly things can be...
Yeah, but
difficult to navigate.
It was a box.
Fair enough. 2 more. Reports her boyfriend took a PlayStation out of her home today. He does not live there. Request to speak with an officer. 102. I knew it was coming. Spoke with the caller. Civil issue, of course.
And then the next one.
This is a different address. Requests a civil standby so she can get her PlayStation back. 102 and 104 responded. Caller returned a couch, and male subject returned the PlayStation.
So we had a prisoner swap.
I love a good couch and PlayStation swap. Hey, it sounds like that's a resolved issue. That's property lost, property found any other day.
Yep.
Anything else? Local events. Hey, JP's, we have a costume party tomorrow, Saturday at 6. Just a good old-fashioned Halloween situation. Looking forward to that. I also wanted to plug, for our viewership, it's not something they'll attend, but the CAM bus that I used to drive for the University of Iowa organization has a 50-year anniversary. And this is homecoming weekend for the University of Iowa. And I have a catering tomorrow, but I'm going to carve out, I think, a chunk of time. It's like a little reunion of CAM bus drivers from the last 50 years.
That's
pretty
really
excited.
Cool. Yeah, that is really cool.
It's just a neat little thing. So you've printed a story about butterboards. I have printed my grandmother's story about camping. Shall we start with Grandma's story?
Yep.
I'm glad you liked it. This is a delight. So it is a lot of personal sharing, but it's just delightful.
So can you explain what what is it's called? Word?
So I guess it's called Storyworth.
Storyworth.
And I know many people, many ages, many occupations, but it's been a way to capture interesting stories from family, and then it can be compiled into a book.
And so it's a prompt.
It
gives you a prompt, and then you write a story.
Yes, some of the other reading involved dating in the. And my grandmother is a Mount Pleasant grad, by the way. She was the valedictorian of her class.
Do you know what year she graduated?
No, but I could deduce it if I.
Because maybe they went to school. Some of my
grandmas were grandma friends.
Yeah.
So this is a story about camping, and the question was, any scrapes that you've gotten into while camping? And Grandma Lures reports, we did not do much camping when you kids were little. I do remember Dean, my grandpa Dean, pulling a tarp over the truck that we had sideboards on and going to Lake Darling to the old campground on the east side of the lake. We had to look like the Beverly Hillbillies. Later on, we also took a truck with a topper and a mattress in the back. I like it.
I love the callback to the Beverly Hillbillies. Great show.
Yeah. Humble things. We camped on the north side of the Skunk River just with Daniel once. Dean gathered up mowed grass to put under the tent to make the bed softer. The only one that slept that night was Daniel. Animals kept brushing up against our tent all night. They were probably raccoons, but sounded like bears. I guess the camp... So I love that the answer was we didn't get into any scrapes, but then we go on to list about 5. I guess the camping trip that we took to Nauvoo, Illinois was memorable. We borrowed Don and Jen's larger tent that had no floor in it. We camped near a lake, and Angela, my aunt, had been frequently sleepwalking, so I tied her ankle to mine with a pair of pantyhose in case she got up and walked into the lake.
I don't see how this could ever go wrong.
By the way, who takes pantyhose on a camping trip? Well, when you traveled with Dean, we would usually try and visit a church on Sunday. That's probably the reason I had the hose. Anyway, during the night, a thunderstorm came up and our tent was flooded with a regular stream of rainwater running through it. We all crammed into the car except for Dean, who slumped in the tent on a chase lounge with the stream running underneath him. My grandpa died when I was 20, at a younger age, but the shenanigans are... That
actually kind of sounds peaceful, sleeping outside and the water running underneath you. Relaxing.
He knew what's up. Later, Grandma Rosemary continues to report, when we got the fifth wheel camper in later years, Dean did a great job driving it. We went several years to California to camp on Angeles Street by their house, and then on to Yuma, Arizona to camp at Caravan Oasis. One time we missed our exit, so Dean decided to back up on the interstate. We survived, but the camper received a large dent in the bumper because he backed into a light pole.
I mean, at least it wasn't like an oncoming car. That's always, I think a light pole might be the best option in that situation.
This is absolutely something my grandpa would have done. It's spot on. I guess that would be getting into a scrape, but I guess this wouldn't be getting into a scrape. But after we got the camper, we followed Harold and May around for a time. That'd be my great uncle, the late Harold, and they showed us some of their favorite spots. We all, the Lewis family, camped together at Leroy and Bobby's place in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. As I remember, Lloyd and Jane, Griffin, Viv, Donna, Jen, Harold, and May, we all had campers there. Harold and May had their big camper there, and everyone was telling Harold how to park, when to back up, so on and so forth, until he finally got so fed up, he backed it up and took out a few palm trees.
A few? He didn't stop after the first one?
It was a big camper. So I hope that you've enjoyed this story as much as I have. I realize an inside joke of stories, but you can't make it up. Backing the camper up, running over the trees, getting the pantyhose and tying the children up. It's spot on. Your camping experiences growing up, Nick? Anything that folds into that?
We didn't really go camping as growing up. We were more the hotel type of family.
It does sound nice.
We were more, let's go to St. Louis and get a hotel room, not outdoorsy.
We were not a stranger to hotel rooms, but some of these experiences are, while I was not in all of those, I remember them later in my life. Thanks for allowing me or us to share them with you. We appreciate you watching our show, Washington Live. We're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the butterboards, and we're going to close it out with the national days and a few celebrity birthdays and birthday shout-outs. We'll see you after the break.
Since 1905, Kelowna Cooperative Technology Company has helped our community stay connected with the latest advancements in clear, dependable telecommunications services. KCTC provides rural Iowans with access to high-speed fiber internet, as well as phone, television, computer repair, and cybersecurity solutions. We're also proud supporters of local organizations and area schools within the community. KCTC, keeping Kelowna connected.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
Welcome back to Washington Live, powered by KCTC. I'm your host, Jaron Rosien. Our producer is Nick Steffens, and we're going to finish up with a little charcuterie chat on this episode. You'll also want to mark your calendar on Halloween to join us as we attempt to, I mean, why not? We're going to we don't want to dress up. That'd be weird. But how about carving a pumpkin while we do our regular show at the same time?
And it's going to...
What could go wrong? I'm going to bring a first
Having to
aid kit.
operate all of this and do it and carving a pumpkin, it's gonna be fun.
Well, you can just do the wide, and we.
Oh, yeah, I do the wide, but then it's gonna.
I'm mostly worried about a laceration unintended.
Yep, that's over. There's gonna be some prep work before we go live.
Yeah, so that's what we'll do on Monday. Monday is Halloween, and we thought we'd do a fun little holiday-oriented show by Halloweening it up. Tell me what you've printed to chat as we close out this episode.
So I saw
There's a picture.
Yeah. So I see these things on TikTok, and then the AP writes about them like a month later. But these are
Under the bus, AP.
they're called butter boards, and apparently they're supposed to be like a cheap alternative to charcuterie boards. Which this one has like salmon on it, so I don't know how cheap it is.
Yeah.
But
that's like a whipped butter underneath on the left? Are you showing our people?
Yeah, I put it up. So I don't know.
And what's on the right? That looks like, is that parsley?
Yeah. So just like the concept of a butter board. What's your opinions on it?
So I've been working out and doing low carb, but I haven't necessarily been doing low fat. I viewed it as a whole food from my restaurant days, just like whole milk. It's natural. It's better than processed food.
Yeah.
Things that are compacted in in the chemistry lab. So in general, I'm not afraid of the butter.
Yeah.
I like it.
I just don't. Would I feel better after eating a plate of butter or a thing of cheese?
I would prefer cheese.
Yeah.
A little bit of butter.
I feel like I'm going to feel like crap either way. But,
Light and fluffy. Yeah, it is hard.
but I don't know. I don't want to pull this out during Thanksgiving this year. And everyone's like, what do you...
Oh, you could do a little one.
I could.
Especially if you have a lot of people.
So that's the practicality of this. I just don't know.
Well, let's see what your article says. Oh, butterboard's the polarizing stepchild of charcuterie. Hi to Paula Joe Ferris McConnell, by the way, with the ghost on 501 South Avenue D, the Underground Railroad. We need to have Mike Zaz back to talk about the Underground Railroad. He could give us the whole path.
Maybe we do a ghost investigation for our Halloween special.
What's that show called? Where they're the paranoid, the paranormal.
Oh, Paranormal Activity? No, that's a movie. Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures. I feel like there used to be a bunch of them back in the 2000s.
Do you believe it?
My family is a huge ghost believers, and with the house we grew up, apparently it was haunted. I think it was hysteria caused by watching all those ghost hunting shows that were prolific in the 2000s.
Oh, fair enough. I'm torn because I'm open-minded, but then kind of more of a
my thing
objectively I look for again the most reasonable explanation.
Yeah. Well, my thing is when people are like, oh, they can manipulate they have those tools, those little gadgets, and it's they change the magnetic field. Who decided that? Who said that ghosts can alter magnetic fields? I feel like it's just a bunch of hoopla.
There's another Mike Zaz thing, by the way. He uses witching sticks, and you can tell how the earth is disturbed to find graves. It's fascinating.
My sister, I don't know why she was using them. Maybe it was a college thing, but she used them, and they said they're really cool.
A little off track.
We start with butter, and now we're talking about finding.
So back to the article. The polarizing stepchild of charcuterie, these butter boards. No, I don't know. I like a good compound butter. I like it on the steak. She's a plant named butter.
But if something's working, like the charcuterie, why change it?
Well, maybe it could be a nice accompaniment to the charcuterie.
That's true.
Because you can do what do you like to put on your charcuterie? I mentioned, so I like Aldi a lot. I was in Iowa City. It took me back. I loved it all through college because I could have the fancy things for
Aldi got me through college as well.
An affordable way, and I was just there this weekend, and I bought 5 different types of cheddar: a 4-year cheddar, a English cheddar, double smoked cheddar. I forget the others, but I love it.
So my sister and I every year make a charcuterie board for either Christmas or Thanksgiving. I think it's cheddar, Havarti, brie. And then we do like nuts and prosciutto and some gabagool.
Like prosciutto?
Yeah.
Is that prosciutto? Okay.
Gabagool, the capicola.
Nice.
Salami. There's things like that.
Costco has an aged Gouda that is phenomenal. It has the crystals, little flavor crystals. And I recommend it to you because someone recommended it to me when I was in the aisle at the Costco. They just said, hey, this one, you should try it. And I tried it and I have not looked back. One other little shout out to Aldi. After graduating college, I applied for a job, through the recruiting website. Did not even get an interview. Heartbroken. I wrote the best cover letter that I thought I had ever written.
You wrote a cover letter for Aldi?
Absolutely. It was like a district manager position.
Oh, okay. It
was like a manager training position.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't, you weren't just like a checker.
No, I met the qualifications. It was like that entry-level position. I spoke how highly I thought of the store. Maybe it's because I said, my friends give me a hard time because I'm such a big fan. I would be a great employee, like a great team member, because I am a great cheerleader. Didn't bite. I didn't even get nothing.
Wow.
The rejection's real. I'm still not upset about it.
How many years ago was this?
16.
It's still mad. It's understandable.
I'm glad I could get that off my chest because it still hurts. I wanted it. Anything else we should cover? What's our national day? And we have a few birthday shout outs to give. Hey, thanks for watching our little weird Friday show.
It's always fun to have a nice little banter episode in the week.
Absolutely. Of course, we have the Chef Spotlight fundraiser. We'll put that in the chat. I have a national day. Do you have one to report?
Yes, it's actually
National First Responders Day.
National First Responders Day.
Very cool.
Yep.
Of course, Washington First Responder Unit went live June 7th, a year and June ago. So we have that's Happy National First Responders Day.
Yep. And then
lots of celebrity birthdays. Non-celebrity birthdays includes Aaron Pickens, Rachel Marie, Julie Stout, Mike Shantz, Jane Davis, and Patricia Lipsky. Happy birthday.
And if it's your birthday today, you share a birthday with Bill Gates, Julia Roberts, Joaquin Phoenix, Frank Ocean, Brad Paisley, Andy Richter, Matt Smith, and Edith Head.
Who's Edith Head?
She's the fashion designer. You know Incredibles, the animated movie? And there's like the little tiny lady.
Sure.
Who's like she's a little fiery.
Matt Smith. I mean, I know him.
He's
to school with, but
Matt Smith he's in the new Game of Thrones. And he was Doctor Who. He's like a really blonde guy in the new Game of Thrones.
I gotcha.
And he played Doctor Who.
Is there anything else to cover before we close out?
I think we're good.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Washington Live, powered by KCTC. Join us on Monday, Halloween, when we do another weird show and do our usual, but carve a pumpkin at the same time. We'll see you then.